My name is Jonas Simba. My sign language interpreter is Gideon Minor. Nicholas Soyo,
yes,
our
Jonas.
guest.
Yes, Jonas.
Civil rights activist, defender, whatever. What are you?
All these things, civil rights activist, an activist, civil rights defender,
Yes.
human rights defense,
Yes.
yeah, and politics and other things.
Okay. I encourage you to share with us your opinions. We are talking about the issues that are happening around here and even across the borders. By the way, Nicholas, what's happening across the borders? What's happening in Sudan?
John, it's a sad story that's developing in Sudan. 270 people killed already. The fighting is between Adel Fattah, the army, who is leading the army, and Mohammed Hamdan, who is leading the rapid support forces. This fight has erupted in the last 1 week, and it has become a real battleground of death and a lot of humanitarian issues are happening there.
Right.
We really hope that there's been some ceasefires declared, I think about 2 of them, but they've not really held out. We hope that they can declare a ceasefire so that people who are not involved in these fights can leave. Because the reality is that the fight is becoming worse and worse.
Okay, the fate of Kenyans there?
We haven't heard yet, because even other nationalities must be suffering there. But I'm sure that there is a lot of Kenyans who are facing difficulties there, even other people from other nationalities, including the Sudanese themselves, who basically are not involved. The women and the youth and the children should really be allowed to leave the
At this time,
area
most
of
likely
Khartoum where the fighting is going on.
Right. At this time, most likely the airports are closed there.
Yeah, of course you can't fly into Sudan right now. Maybe outskirts of Sudan, but if you try to go to Khartoum, you might be shot down. It's a very dangerous area where the army has military planes, and they are being shot down. So if you try to fly in that area, you are in a mess.
The army. The leader of that army, is he the de facto leader now of Sudan?
Yeah, that is the de facto leader of Sudan. I know we all remember Omar el-Bashir, but of course he was deposed and taken to ICC, and after that there were issues here and there, and finally it is Abdel Fattah who is a de facto leader.
Abdel Fattah?
Yes, Abdel Fattah.
The de facto leader of the army?
Al-Burhan. He was a de facto. He's a leader of the army and the de facto leader of the country.
And the leader of the other group, RSF?
RSF is led by Mohammed Hamdan.
Now the question lingers.
It's called Hemedi.
Yes.
Yes, Hemedi.
The question lingers here. Sudan is just out of a revolution, right?
Yes.
They must have gone through a revolution.
Yes, when they removed al-Bashir.
Yeah, Kenya.
Yes.
Have we been through any revolution really? We've heard of the second liberation.
You can say that Kenya has had a silent revolution.
Okay.
Which you could say the NAC 2002 was a revolution.
Yes.
But then again, you see what happened with that revolution. I think the problem, Jonah, is the leadership of revolutions, as opposed to what the people are looking after.
Right.
Because if you look at the case of Kenya, for instance, the people are very much ready for the change that they were anticipating, the change to ensure that corruption goes away, and you can see they even were attacking police officers who are considered corrupt. Actually arresting them.
Yes.
And then 6 months later, boom, Anglo-Listen, and we are back to Kanu. And I think we were basically warned of this by a caricature by Mad, who basically drew Mado, yes. Mado drew, yes. Yeah, Mad. It's called Mado. Eh?
Yes.
He drew a caricature where the person who is looking at the mirror was basically Nak, and in the mirror there was Kanu. Okay. You should have seen this, because most of the people who are in Nak are basically people who came from Kanu. And this is what probably we need to understand, that leadership of some of these revolutions are not probably with the people. They have their own interests.
I wish people realized how serious revolutions are and how they need to be taken advantage of. Ours was just a second liberation. It is not a good thing to go through a revolution. I think the best thing that you can do as a country is to avoid a revolution as much as possible. Am I right?
You could be, Jonah, you could be,
yes.
But the activist in me will not agree with you, because for me I feel that a revolution does not have to be bloody. Jonah, we have something called the internet revolution. We have the industrial revolution. We had the revolution called the iron revolution.
Certainly
instance.
that was not the Arab revolution. The Arab revolution was
Because it wasn't the Arab revolution.
Yes, and the French revolution.
But then the French revolution was a bloody scene that took so many, about 5-7 years for it to end up, for us to get Napoleon Bonaparte at the end of it,
right,
who basically came through a coup of some sort. Yes, revolutions can be bloody, they can be messy, they can completely shift everything that exists. That is true. We have had several of those revolutions in the world. But then again, sometimes when need is necessary, the people must basically come out and defend the opportunities, or maybe expand those opportunities. And sometimes it happens that they can only do it through a revolution. Very, very unfortunate, but some of these things happen.
The citizen is very serious. The mwananchi in Kenya and in Africa, all they want is good livelihoods.
Exactly.
What happens? Is it that they are conned out of their need for a good life?
Look at the NAC situation, eh?
Right. By the way, Kenya is one of the best countries now, ranked 74th, Nairobi.
Yeah, that's another issue that has come up. And we are really asking ourselves where this money is, Jonah.
Right.
Because apparently the ranking by Hanley and Partners puts Kenya at 74th. Nairobi, actually, it's a city's rank, eh?
Yes.
And Nairobi about having the high net worth individuals. We have so many of them in apparently. To a rank of 74th and to a rank of 4th in Africa.
Whoa.
We are only beaten by Cairo, I think it is Cape Town,
right,
and Lagos.
Yes.
And this is something that Jonah, people ask a lot, because this ranking is about net worth of people. There are people in this country who are very highly worth, and even Mombasa is 93rd in that ranking.
Whoa.
So we have two cities of 100, top of 100 across the world, Jonah.
Right.
That is a high net worth of people in this city.
But then this network, definitely they employ people.
No, the question, Jonah, for me is that the African net worth people are not very philanthropic. That is one of the problems we have. In other countries, those people basically do employment and also do philanthropy. But in Africa, a few of them would do that philanthropy. You will mention a few names here and there, but usually you will find that there is not much that happens. This wealth is something that for us, Jonah, I think it's opaque. I'm not seeing it where, you can see a few things here and there. But the fact that we are 74th in the world, how many cities are there in the world? 74th of those cities. 93rd, we have 2 cities among the top 100 cities in the world, Jonah.
Right.
You just imagine cities in the world. Go to across the world. Go to Beijing. Go to the things like American cities. There are several of them. Go to Europe. Go to Asia. Kenya is Nairobi is 74th.
And Mombasa 93rd.
That
so
is very
we have
interesting.
2 cities.
That is very interesting.
We have rich people then.
Yeah, we have rich people, and my question is, why are they not sharing some of this wealth? And sharing the wealth makes you even more wealthier. Go and ask people like this guy of Bill Gates, who basically shares a lot of his wealth, and you can see how continues becoming wealthier and wealthier. Elon Musk is the richest person in the world. He wants to take us to the Mars. People need to consider sharing some of the wealth. You share it out, it comes back to you.
Okay.
Yes, Jonah.
There's this Facebook guy, what's his name? He came to Kenya.
That is Zuckerberg.
Yes.
Yes. They come to Kenya because apparently if we have those figures of high net worth people, then we are basically rubbing shoulders with some of these rich people across the world.
Right, right.
So they usually do come to Kenya, that is a fact. If Mombasa is 93rd, then they also visit Mombasa. There's a lot of rich people in Kenya apparently.
Yeah, rich people, but then we have hungry nurses.
We have hungry nurses. The issue about the strike is
Right.
we are not sure where we are headed, because we are still looking at situation. The last story
Is it
that
just nurses or nurses and doctors?
it is everybody who is working in the counties, because the counties have not gotten their share of revenue.
But then they said it's just about 12, or is it 14 counties? 12 counties.
This is because, Jonah, what some counties have been doing,
Right.
they have what is called own generated wealth, or own resource of own resource, whereby you do your things, you charge taxes in some of the things like parking. For instance, a place like Nairobi has so many vehicles, they will charge parking, and so other businesses you charge, and then now you pay your people. But then the money that is supposed to be taken to those counties has not gone down, and that is where we are having these problems in some of these counties, Jonah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, where is this leading our medical sector to? What is the minister saying? What is CS Nahumicha saying? Because it's like this is the devil in the devolution. Maybe this aspect of healthcare shouldn't have been devolved. Did we get it wrong by devolving healthcare? Maybe it should have remained with the national government.
I really don't think we got it wrong. What we failed to do is to put resources in where the functions are. Because, Jonah, you see, if you look at the resources that are committed to healthcare in this country, it's about 6%, 7%. I think even less. I need to ask Nakumecha to tell us how much resources are put in health. Yet we have the Abuja Declaration, where Kenya is a signatory. And you know, under the constitution, we have those international agreements are domesticated into our constitution. And so really, we are supposed to spend 15% on healthcare. That is what you're supposed to be spending. We are spending less than half of that, Jonah.
So it means we have a big problem here in that devolution.
And then
maybe by devolving
the other issue is that, again, that money stays in the national government.
Yeah.
It has not gone down. So
we have an issue of timely disbursement of funds. Maybe they should have been disbursing these funds on time. Where is the money? Because these people say they have not been paid for the last 4 months?
Yeah, it is even not just in the counties also, Jonah. It's also some other civil servants.
Yes.
Jonah, somebody answered that question on social media. I don't want to quote the person, but I will just basically allege that somebody said that some of the people who have gone into employment in even the revenue office, KRA, right, may have questionable pasts. And that is one of the things that maybe some of those people are now, where the money is collected, now they are close to where to take the money. I really hope that that is not the case. But if that is the case, then we have a problem, Jonah. Because you see, you will not see the money when it's being siphoned. It's like when you see you're supposed to have a pipeline, and then somebody is removing from somewhere. Before it reaches you, you will not get the water. It will not reach you.
Right.
And that's probably very unfortunate if that is happening.
So what are the demands that they're putting across? Is this just salaries, or?
It is salaries and a few other things, Jonah. You know, working environment is also very important for some of these situations.
Right.
You remember when COVID came, they had a lot of issues with the PPEs and all this stuff. And now some of those issues are still coming up. I really hope that there can be a serious discussion. But Jonah, as people, as a country, we must actually take charge of this issue and tell the government that you must take 15% to counties for health. You only are left with 10% of that 15% of what we have as revenue. You really must take this money to the counties for health care. Healthcare is very important, Jonah.
Yeah. You know, when you're talking about government employees not receiving salaries, then it means that even taking these health workers back to the national government, it's still not helping. We'll still have the same issue.
And exactly what I'm saying. I mean, if we don't dedicate resources that are enough to healthcare and also food security, we are going to have situations where we have diseases that are going to come, lifestyle diseases and all this stuff, because we can't basically know that these diseases are coming because we don't test early, Jonah. Those are some of the problems we face. and you won't know that this thing is coming. We need to reach a point that when cancer is beginning to attack you, you can tell very quickly, and medical intervention is done very early. Those are some of the things that we are facing. People don't go for medical checkup in this country. I would have really loved if that some of those resources were there, so that every person should have an annual medical checkup, so that you can tell if there's something coming up, John.
Yeah, and the debt burden is still growing.
It's still growing because, they say that the surge, and we always give the example of what happened in some of these countries where they've had armies. You see a new administration coming in, and they say that they are going to remove their army, but they must first of all take people there, or more of them, before they can remove them. I think, John, even when you try to run away from the issue of debt, you must do a surge to ensure that you deal with the questions that are obtaining immediately. Then now you can maybe begin to wean the country off debt. Okay. It is a matter of physical planning, and it's a matter that needs discipline in physical engagement. But John, I'm really worried because what you're seeing in government and the spending that is happening in government, the kind of things that they are dealing with. I remember seeing photos of State House, which now has changed from, we used to have tarmac, now it's cabro. What was this, why was that important? There's a lot of things that are not important. We've heard that vehicles have been bought, Jonah. Are they really important right now? We've heard that some things, people are traveling all over. So Jonah, really the cost of governance is really a problem.
Okay, let me come to, in your opinion, you seem to say food security are the most important things. Yeah. Now, when you come to ugali, unga, have you eaten 150 packet unga?
I've not eaten the 150 packet. I need to look for it, Jonah. But then the other issue is that...
have you eaten ugali of late?
I eat ugali, but I organize
with the quality. Is the quality okay?
I've organized myself in a different way myself.
Right.
Me, I take mine to portion meal because I don't trust buying unga anymore. I might go to the shop and find there's no unga there. So really, for me, I feel I need to secure myself and ensure that I have something that I can take to the portion meal now, and I have my unga.
Yeah. You see, when you open up importation, you're opening up to everybody to bring in unga. Is it that there are some people bringing in questionable unga? There's a word going around that the unga is a bit more sticky. It's like you're eating wimbi or something like that. Jonah,
that's the problem that we face every time you open yourself up to these kinds of imports and what have you. It is about people making money. And sometimes when people want to make money, they become unscrupulous and they do things that basically will ensure that they make a profit and a killing at that point. I think that we are mismanaging some of these things. I don't think it was necessary for us to get to a point where we are importing unga. We should have really concentrated on considering production in this country. And also, Jonah, we need to have the agriculture ministry start to talk about other supplementary food stuff. For instance, Jonah, there is a lot of foods coming from things like these tubers, things like warus, potatoes. These are things that cassavas, all this stuff. These are things that we need to start creating something around them. We need to do value addition on some of those things. I remember I was in Uganda one time, and it was raining, and I was a student there. And the rain basically stopped.
You studied in Uganda also?
Yeah, it was time I was in Uganda.
S5, S6?
No, I was there for university, the first years of university.
Okay.
I just did a diploma.
I did S5 and S6 there.
Okay. Me, I just did a diploma and came back and went to University of Nairobi.
Okay.
So basically, what I feel when I was there, the experience I got, it started raining and people ran out, and I was surprised. Guys are running to the rain. This is very shocking. They were chasing the senenes, Jonah. These things that come when rain come out. These termites and what have you, and even senenes. This green. We call them senenes in my. I don't know what.
Are you talking of kumbi kumbi?
I think, yeah. Kumbi kumbi is the one that comes from the rain, the termites.
Yes.
But then there is also the green. I don't want to grasshoppers. Very small grasshoppers, green.
Okay.
As we call them senenes, and those ones, people. That's a delicacy in Uganda. You go to every market, it is there being sold. If you tell a Kenyan, kule senene, and I'll come with a senene one time and show people here. It is something that people may feel that, now you're taking it beneath us. But Jonah, my thinking
one time
is...
I was in Kitale and I saw kids eating something. They called it machichi. It looks like a big white thing. When you look at it, you may think you're looking at a very horrible. And they were, funny enough, they told me this thing is nice when they cooked it.
Jonah, you know the thing
and
is...
they brought it to me.
And you couldn't eat it?
I ate it.
And how did you feel it?
I'm glad I didn't see what I was eating because the taste was far from
So that's where the advantage of being blind is. I get it. It's very, our eyes can give us very bad images sometimes. So, Jonah, the reality is this: if the agriculture ministry got down into the business of looking for alternative foods and even doing value addition, I'd like to eat biscuits from those things, from the kumbikubis and the senenes. Those are the kinds of things we want to talk about. There is even military biscuits that basically are very good in minerals for the body. You can just eat them and basically it's like you've eaten a balanced diet. So these are some of the things that the agriculture ministry needs to start being innovative about.
Right.
So that it doesn't have to be only unga all the time.
Yeah, and we've even exported our demand to Zambia.
Yeah, apparently, and the Zambians and then the Zambians have changed their mind. I mean, Jonah, you cannot rely on someone else. The story that was coming in, I don't know if that's the reality, but they said that they're also facing problems with food and they cannot export food that is grown to their country when their people are hungry. And so it means our ugali will be eaten by the Zambians and we are not going to say anything about it. Maybe they pay us then for our ugali, for our unga.
Had it already
for our maize.
planted?
I don't know.
Right.
The story is not really clear, but if that is happening, then we really don't have to rely on others to grow things in their countries. Let us grow these things here. We have enough land, Jonah. You can just take a vehicle and move towards Mombasa Road and you'll find a place where you just see a lot of open spaces where you can go and talk to owners of those lands and grow those things here.
But then there's a bigger problem. The bigger problem, you remember what happened to the sugar industry. You saw the way our sugar factories went down because of importation of sugar. Is it that there are some people benefiting from the importation of maize, so they don't want the internal sector to stabilize so that they may profit for this? Is that
can be
a reality?
That can be one of the issues, Jonah. Because there are people who want to benefit individually, and this is a problem that we have with people who want to take advantage of opportunities. They kill industries. These industries in this country, we have had the textile industry dead. We used to have very serious textile industry. I think you remember that, Jonah. You're old enough to remember the days of Kikomis and Rivertexes and all the kind of stuff that we had at those times. Then we killed the motor industry. Raymond was also there. We killed the motor industry, Jonah. We are importing second-hand vehicles from Japan, vehicles that are dead in Japan.
Remember the Nyayo car?
Yeah, we had the Nyayo car and then those kind of stuff. But really, Jonah, we had a very powerful... we used to build vehicles here. We used to basically assemble vehicles in this country.
Remember the Nyayo bus?
And
by the NYS.
Yeah, we had the Nyayo bus, the DAFs, those kind of stuff.
Yes.
Jonah, all those things. We have killed them, and so even this agriculture, we are killing a lot of these industries by unscrupulous people, even people who want to take advantage. They just want to make sure that it's not working in Kenya so that they can import, and when they import, they go and look for the lowest quality and they do some unscrupulous things on those stuff, and then they bring it to the country, and then you're eating whatever you're eating. People have even eaten in this country. People have eaten plastic rice in this country. I've had those issues, not just in Kenya, but across Africa.
Is that what Kenya Kwanza was complaining about the former government, state capture? Is it the same state capture we have? Because these may be the businessmen funding the politics.
Yeah, Jonah, you see the state capture, you cannot really say that it is for the other people, because even them, we've seen a lot of questions with the way decisions are being made. Decisions seem to be made from elsewhere other than the institutions that should make it. The police, for instance, we are still asking a lot of questions as activists. Some of us have gone to court because of some of the decisions that they've made right now. We are in court, Jonah, a case that is petition E-122 of 2023 is a case that we have taken the OCS to court, and even the IG and the AG and the OC and the CS, because of the issues of some of the interpretation of what they are dealing with, the Article 37, Jonah. Because you see, if you see those kind of narratives coming from even the police and the way they talk, you just know that they are coming from a person who is not the police himself. Because if it's the police in this country must understand it's a service. And when it's a service, it's about you being given the opportunity as a citizen to enjoy your rights.
I'm just waiting for my producer to tell me if we are time out. But then we are looking at a maize sector here that is actually my producer says it's time. So we need to go for a break, Nick.
Yes, Jonah. Yes, Jonah.
Then come back and dig into this. You need to tell us where the demonstrations are. Are we going back to the trenches? Viewers, this is Politics Today. Hapa tunachapa siasa. See you after the break.